Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's match preview time once again as we look ahead to match day 15 as Derby County are at home against Plymouth Argyle. It's Waz's return to Pride Park, where he started his coaching career, and the Pilgrims come into the game in 20th position. Why are they in 20th position? I don't know. Maybe it's because of Wayne Rooney. Maybe it's because of other factors, but we're going to endeavor to find out. I've got Aaron Hawking with me from the Green and White podcast, who does all things Plymouth Argyle. Aaron, it's great to be with you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, looking forward to Saturday after Tuesday night's win, despite not playing very well. But that's a sign of a good team, right?
It is. And to show you my dedication in preparation for this, Aaron, I watched bits of that game last night, and I turned off two Champions League games, Sporting and Manchester City, and Liverpool Bayer Leverkusen, to watch bits of that game. Instantly regretted it the moment that I turned it on. And I just like to say to you, because Plymouth did get the win last night with Michael Obafemi, who has a massive rear end, by the way. Not like it's just weird. Like, it's very, I'm not going to go in weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just very.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. He's got very large hips and legs for a very small torso. What were the two Portsmouth center halves doing? Because a guy who's 5'5" bullied the one guy off the ball. Then the second guy just got shoved off. It was like, what are you guys doing? That was weird. We're going to talk about that. But Aaron, talk to me about Plymouth's start to the season. It's obviously not great. Well, not great. They're level on points with Derby, but they sit in 20th position with goal difference and things like that. I know Plymouth went up from League One. We spoke a couple of years ago. Under Schumacher, they were like, I don't know, what, the 6th, 7th, something like that, really hitting the top end of the championship. He left to go to Stoke. Plymouth, kind of dropped down the division a little bit, and they're sitting in 20th right now after 14 games. What's the story of your season so far?
Yeah, we were maybe 6th or 7th the first couple of games in the championship, but we didn't hit those sort of heights later on. Yeah, Schumacher left to go to Stoke. That worked out really well for him. The grass isn't always greener, as we're learning from.
That worked out for nobody. That was one of those spectacular failures where just everybody ended up losing something.
It worked out very well for his bank balance, and that's about it.
It did. His bank manager's happy.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, no, the grass isn't always greener when you leave Argyle. We're finding that out with several coaches and players at the moment. We're doing okay. We're doing about par, to be honest, with the squad that we've got. We've got 6, maybe 7 key players out injured at the moment, which isn't great for a squad that's already quite thin. We are plugging away at home park. We're quite similar to Derby in the fact that away from the 4th best away from home in the league, you are 23rd. At home, I think you are 6th and we're 7th in home form. So we are so similar to you in that we cannot buy a win away from home. But at home park, we've only lost once all season. So it's a long way to go to home park, as you guys will know from our time in League One, and as they'll know later on in the season when you come down. But it's the home advantage is really is what's keeping us up at the moment. It's what kept us up last year. It's what took us up in the year we won League One with 101 points. We won something like 69% of our points at home park. So at home we are. I don't want to say exceptional after the last couple of games there, but we're doing okay. We're picking up the points. But away from home is where we really struggle, and away from home is where we play on Saturday. So put every penny you have on a Derby County win would be my advice. But also, please gamble responsibly.
Yeah, that would be literally 2 pennies, Aaron, that I could put on that game. Yeah, it should be an interesting game, and it's interesting to see how the teams have kind of mirrored each other. Good home forms, poor away forms, and hopefully it spells success for Derby at the weekend, and hopefully they turn around the away form and it spells success for us later down in the season. But talk to me about it, because it's no longer Plymouth Argyle, Aaron. It's Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle. So talk to me about Wazza and how he's come into Plymouth, because to be honest, he was Derby County player. He was a manager here. He kept us up, then kind of took us down, left with the takeover, came to DC United just up the road from me. Was very, very poor. Went to Birmingham. That record speaks for itself. He was poor there. And it kind of seemed to me, Aaron, like a little bit of a weird fit for him to go to Plymouth, living in Cheshire, having always kind of, not necessarily been in that area because he's been overseas and stuff like that. But like Plymouth is a long way away from Cheshire. I kind of seemed like a weird fit, and it didn't kind of seem to fit the Plymouth vibe that they were going for at the time. Thoughts on manager Wayne Rooney and the job he's been doing so far?
Yeah, on the location thing, he has moved down to Plymouth and does live in the city as well. As is testament because he interacts with our fans in and around the city all the time. He's gaining a lot of love and a lot of respect for the man he is. Maybe not the football manager, but the man. He's a lovely bloke. Met him out when we went to Marbella for a pre-season tour. One-on-one chat there. Absolutely brilliant bloke. When it comes to football management, which is obviously a required requisite for the job, he's still learning. He's still raw. But as I said earlier, we're on par for where we're supposed to be. We've got one of, if not the smallest budget in the league. Even the teams that come up last year most probably have bigger budgets than us. Even most probably yourselves, to be honest. We are very poor in championship standards. We've got a squad that's threadbare and been decimated by injury. For us to be out of the relegation zone at the moment, I think he's actually doing all right. Tactically, we threw the game up at Leeds. In long story short, in which we didn't have a shot. So that's just how that goes to show how good we are away from home. But actually, like his in-game tactical changes are winning us points at the moment. Tuesday was our fifth game our fifth game on the bounce at home where we'd scored late. I mean, yesterday's was early in comparison in the 82nd minute or whatever it was, where we have picked up points. So Preston, we came 3-0 down, got a credible draw. Despite didn't even deserve a goal out of that game, never mind 3. After his changes, his tweaks, we've beaten. Did we beat Blackburn? Beat Blackburn. Beat Sunderland with a 96-minute winner. The never say die attitude at home park is alive and kicking. And on Rooney himself, he's doing okay. Doing okay. As much as I'd love to join the national media pylon and give him a kick in, he's doing all right at the moment. I mean, our form away from home is dreadful and that needs changing. But some of the games you'd expect us to pick up points, we haven't, and some games where you think the opposition are far too strong, there's no way we're going to beat them, we have. So like I said, doing about par at the moment.
Do you think, Aaron, that Plymouth have the gusto in the fight and Wayne Rooney has the nous to pull them away from the relegation zone? Or, and I'm sure you're an optimist, but do you think come the end of the season that Plymouth will survive above that dotted line? Or do you think it's a bit touch and go, or do you think you're dead certain for relegation? I know it's early and I hate to give you that kind of question because I want you to be positive, but what are your expectations for the rest of the season?
Yeah, right now I think we stay up. Mainly because Portsmouth, I don't want to say battered, but were the much better side for 70 minutes on Tuesday night, and we still managed to get the win out of that. Away at Leeds, we were dreadful. Away at Cardiff, we were dreadful. Away at Sheffield Wednesday, we were dreadful. But like I said, that home form is what's carrying us through, beating top of the table Sunderland, etc. So I think we're going to pick up enough points at home that keep us up, and much like yourselves, pick up enough points at home to keep us up. The odd win here and there away, a couple of draws, and that's enough to stay up. I think Portsmouth have a very big task in staying up. I think Coventry and Luton will leave those relegation zones behind. I think they'll start picking up points. And I think in January, if we can make some, I want to say 4 or 5 decent signings, and I know they never all come off, and that's a lot of bodies to be bringing in January. But if we can make 4 or 5 decent signings in January, we're fine. I think right now. Ask me again in a couple of weeks, maybe not. But I think we'll be all right.
There were a lot of commas in there. I will be all right. I think. I hope. Yeah. If we get the bodies in, we should be okay. Yeah. There was a lot of commas in that one, but yeah. I appreciate the optimism, Aaron, and I think from a Derby perspective as well, because our two teams mirror each other. I think there are three worse teams in this division than our two teams.
Yeah.
From what I've seen
Yeah,
so far.
Yeah. You'll be similar to us in the fact that at the start of the season that everybody was writing you off, and like it just makes you more determined to stay up, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, we're not great, we're not maybe not championship standard yet, but like I just want to see that every national media outlet squirm when Wayne Rooney keeps us up, and then they'll be just moaning that he's not done a good enough job, and a man of Wayne Rooney's stature shouldn't be finishing 21st in the championship. It's like, no, that was literally his job. He's managed it. Like, congratulations. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Talk to me about Wayne Rooney's tactics and things ahead of this match. What formation is he playing these days for Plymouth, and the kind of the Wayne Rooney style? Because I don't think we really saw it at Derby. I think maybe it fits and starts, but a lot of it was a lot of chopping and changing to get points, because it was kind of like needs must, and we have to just get a win in the next game, and who cares, and we have to pick up points. What kind of style and formation is Wayne playing these days?
Similar, really, in the fact that we went through all of pre-season playing a 4-4-2, and I think that was purely for like minutes and the squad we had available. Finally managed to get a number 10 in on the final day in Rami Al-Haj from Udinese, and switched to like a 4-2-3-1. We're now playing more of a 4-3-3, and we have like chopped and changed. Away at Leeds, we played a back six, which was interesting and went really well. So there's a lot of like change, but I think that you just have to now. I think just tactically you have to be flexible. And I think that we're trying to do that. Like I said, it's working in some areas, it isn't in others. Basically on Saturday, you can pretty much bypass our midfield quite easily. So I would do that if I was Derby. We've lost a bit of tenacity in the middle, and we've lost a key player in Adam Randall, who is our midfield pivot, and most of the play goes through him. But yeah, in terms of like standout formation, I couldn't give you like an actual nailed on formation that we're going to play on Saturday, but I can imagine it'll be a 4-3-3.
Fair enough, Aaron. And talk to me a little bit about Morgan Whitaker, Derby youth product, obviously. Wayne didn't have, I wouldn't say a great relationship or a poor relationship, but he was sold under Wayne Rooney's tenure. And he never really got regular minutes. Went to Swansea, did okay. Came to Plymouth, dropped down a division, scored a bunch of goals, scored some goals last year. How's Morgan Whitaker getting on these days? Is he starting finally show the potential that he had when he first broke into Derby, and just showed it in fits and starts, or how's Morgan doing?
Yeah, he's our Haaland, he's our Salah. He's not going to be like in and amongst it constantly, but he will provide that like one or two touches that just changes the game. In the fact that, like I said, he's not going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And you basically, opposition fans will say two things after the game. They'll say, Morgan Whitaker's rubbish. Why the hell did they want 15 million for him? Didn't do anything. And the other set of fans will say, bloody hell, what a player, incredible, match winner, worth every penny, sort of thing. So he's either there or he isn't. And recently he's been, I'm not a body language expert, and I'm not going to read too much into it, but especially after the game on Tuesday, didn't look too impressed, even despite the win, because he was bought off. So I don't know what his relationship's like with Wayne. I'm sure we'll never really know until after Wayne departs or Morgan departs and he talks about it on a podcast. Morgan, let us know if you want to do that. I'm sure we can facilitate. And
I think we could double host that, Aaron. We could probably double host that and find out.
Exactly, find out. But I can imagine playing under. I don't know what the situation was like when he was sold with you. If that was during admin and you just needed to sell players for money. But yeah, I can imagine playing under. I've even played under like Sunday League managers where I've played like, I think I've played okay, and then they've departed or whatever. Then that you don't get on with them that well, and then they join a different club, and you turn up there, and then you're like, oh god, I don't want to play under you. So, yeah, that's the only reference I have for that really. But he's doing okay. He's doing okay. He was our best player by, I don't want to say by a country mile, but he was definitely our best player last season, and he's amongst the stats, most probably up there with one of our better performances this season. So he's doing okay.
One of the big departures this off this close season, Aaron, from Plymouth was Michael Cooper, the goalkeeper. And to bring him in, they brought in Daniel Grimshaw from Blackpool. How's the change between the sticks worked out? Because Grimshaw's been decent for Blackpool for a while, not great, but he's been a decent goalkeeper. How's that changed? Because I know Sheffield United like Michael Cooper. I thought they potentially talking about him internationally in the future, being a top guy. How's the change between the sticks treating you?
Yeah, to go from without doubt the best goalkeeper in the championship to a guy that's barely played at the level it's a step down no matter what, no matter who we got in. Even if we got James Trafford or Gavin Bazunu or I'm trying to think who else is in that. James Beadle, like whoever, Carl Rushworth, whoever we got in was going to be a step down from Michael Cooper. And it might be it might be a bit over the top to call him that, but he is. That's just what he is. And maybe because he's a youth product of ours that we think more highly of him. That's not the case. He is without doubt the best goalkeeper in the championship. And the fact that he's gone to Sheffield United for a rumored £2 million is like an absolute punch in the gut, because he is worth so much more than that. And like you said, in the future, I fully can see him getting international recognition if he goes up with Sheffield United and continues the form that he's showing now. Maybe as like a second or third choice, but I can still see it. As for Grimshaw, brilliant with his feet. His numbers are above Cooper's in terms of distribution, in terms of keeping the ball out of the net. Tuesday was our first clean sheet of the season, or first league clean sheet of the season, because we did manage a clean sheet in the League Cup against Cheltenham Town, but I'm not sure many people really count that. So first proper league clean sheet of the season, and yeah, he's okay. He's a good shot stopper for the money we paid. I don't think we could have got much better. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah,
That's good. I mean,
he's not Michael Cooper,
signings.
but he's solid. Yeah,
Everybody loves solid value for money signings.
Yeah.
We have a good goalkeeper with ourselves. You'll see him play. Zetterstrom as well. Brought him in from Sweden. He's absolutely fantastic. 6'6", great reactions. Distribution needs a bit of work, but everybody needs a bit of work because they're playing the championship. And they didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
They wouldn't be playing at this division. Aaron, a couple more questions for you before I let you go. You touched on this briefly. What are the strengths of this Plymouth side? Where can they really go and hurt Derby? Where do Derby need to be wary of this Plymouth side?
Good question. I don't really know what our strengths are at the moment. If you look at the last couple of games, I suppose away from home we have no strengths, none. Away, since we've been promoted back to the Championship, we have travelled nearly 17,000 miles, and we've seen 3 away wins. 2 of those came under Ian Foster, the stewardship of him, in which we looked like we couldn't buy a win at home. We lost 5 games under him, which is more than the Championship results combined under Stephen Schumacher, Neil Dewsnip, Kevin Nanskiville, and now Wayne Rooney at home. So that period in which we were able to pick up results away, we couldn't at home. So there's basically 0% chance that we rock up to Derby and get a win on Saturday, by the way. It's not going to be the same as when Sam Cosgrove came off the bench and turned you over, which is up there with one of the best away days of my life. And God, I would love to see that again on Saturday, but there's just something in this Argyle side that makes me I just know that we're not going to pick up the win. Where are the strengths? Maybe in the front 4. We don't have Ibrahim Sissoko, a guy who was playing Europa League football last season with Toulouse. He's out injured for a few months now until the new year. But we do have Morgan Whittaker on the right. Most likely Michael Obafemi will start on the left. And then we have a combination of either Andre Gray or Ryan Hardy to start up top. And that, for a low-level Championship team, is on paper is actually very exciting. But I just like them to click, really. And once they get up and running, I think we'll be absolutely fine. But our top scorer at the moment is Ibrahim Sissoko, who, like I said, won't be there on Saturday. So yeah, that's maybe our strength if we can get them fit and firing.
Fair enough. And where are the weaknesses in this team? If Darby are preparing for this game and watching this video, you're going to tell them where the weaknesses are so they can go attack them. Where are the weaknesses in this Plymouth team?
But yeah, again, like I said, away from home, just traveling, just having to leave Plymouth, the confines of Plymouth. That is our weakness. The second we get on the A38, that game's lost, I think. Yeah. Apart from that, the weaknesses would be the 6 or 7 players we've got out injured. The fact we don't have our captain in Joe Edwards, the fact that Mohamed Tijani, Ibrahim Sissoko, Adam Randall, our best centre back in Lewis Gibson are all out. Yeah, that's our weakness. And also maybe at fullback currently, in the fact that our best fullback is Bali Mumba, who is a wing back by trade. Likes to get forward, not the best at defending. So yeah, that's our weaknesses really. Can't buy a win away from home, and you're very strong at home. So those things
We are very strong at home. I don't know what it is about away games for both of our teams. I don't know psychologically whether they're staying at a different hotel or something and they need to up the quality. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't work for either of us.
No idea.
Aaron, one last thing before I let you go. I'm gonna need you. How's this game gonna go? Because this is a game. I'm not gonna say it's a 6-pointer, but I am gonna say it's a 6-pointer. It's an early season 6-pointer. Both these teams, 15 points. Derby were very happy with their start, and then all of a sudden you have a bit of iffy form, and then you start like, well, only 3 points off the relegation places. Same with you guys who just picked up the victory. This is a big game because we can catapult each other, give each other some space. How are you viewing this game, and what's the score prediction going to be?
Yeah, with 3 points off the relegation zone and 6 points off the playoffs.
Welcome back to the championship.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? So, we win on Saturday and all of a sudden we're sat like pretty mid-table and we're like, oh, actually, maybe we're quite good. And then, if we lose on Saturday, it's, we are doomed to win Bachelor League One. See you later. Au revoir. So that's just the joys of being a football fan, then, isn't it? How does Saturday go? Head says 2-0 Derby win, away form, terrible, continues, going to be rubbish. Your home form's good. Is what it is. Most probably Curtis Nelson scores the second with a header. Maybe not a bullet header like he has earlier in the season, but, we have a curse of former players scoring against us. So maybe that might be a wise bet. And then my heart says, similar to, the Sam Cosgrove day in which you're all over us for the first 45. We're a second half team. We come out of the block second half and we somehow get a 3-2 win again. That would be absolutely fantastic. I'd love that. But yeah, I think it's more head than heart, to be honest. So I'll go. No, I'll be positive. I'll go for another 3-2 Argyle win, but just caveat that with the fact that I actually said that we're going to lose 2-0. But
he's covered both of his bases. You can give a prediction for sitting. I could sit on the fence and then we have all 3 predictions covered. Then
do it.
Be like, hey, we called it. Aaron from the Green and White podcast. Aaron, thanks so much for joining me. Looking forward to the game against the Pilgrims. Should be a good one. So should be entertaining at least. I don't know if it's a good one, like a classic, like you put it on VHS tape like they used to. But should be a decent game, and hopefully some points for either of our 2 teams. And best of luck after Saturday, and we'll catch up at the return fixture.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
So that's all we've got for this week. We'll be back with another match preview next week as the season keeps rolling on. And stay tuned for loads more content. We'll be back soon. Until then, up the Rams.